for in a bit. Okay. I'll trade you some of this for some of that. He's the star of the stream. Thanks, Decoy. What's she eating? Some toast and pate. Which was meant for me, but she's having it. Oh. Welcome to the Ankama Showtime 2025. We're in good company. Let's leave them all to present themselves. I'm Sue, producer and game designer in Wakfu, and I hope you will have a great showtime. Hello everyone, I am Papino, producer Dofus and Dofus Retro. And I'm Wise, global content manager in Dofus Touch principally. And we are in charming company today. We did not come on our own. Is there a need to present to you? Yeah, let's do it. Nozada, streamer on the Ankama games, whether it be Dofus, Wakfu, Waven. You forgot a name. Humility, creator, content creator for Ankama, but principally Dofus and Dofus Touch. Similarly, Retro and a lot of Dofus 3 at the time being, for the time being. A nice Dofus in the making, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, you're working. We're streaming very little at the moment. Viewers have missed it because there is no 24-hour lives anymore. No, there hasn't been? No. So what is going on in this show, right? Can you explain the concept or we're going to do? This connected show. So, Ankama Showtime 2025 is a show where we'll have the time to speak about everything that is arriving in the Ankama ecosystem. Globally, at the summary, we will talk about for 30 minutes. We'll talk about the expectations of the community. What the community expects from next year from the various games that they play. And you three, what do you have? Do you have any expectations to begin? Yeah, I think everybody does. Yeah. If you play the game, then yes, you do have. We necessarily have expectations every year for the next one. And especially with this being a big year for Ankama, that is announcing itself really strong. So we've got big expectations for next year. Yep, I can join you with that. More towards 7 PM. We can reveal everything, but let's get into the topic right now. And then we can meet each other for an after show and talk about everything which has been discussed. And just to warn you, all three of those guys don't know anything. So we will get their live reactions. We'll get their hot reactions. Yeah, so their reaction will be the same one that you will be having. We were a bit tempted to show them, but we thought, nah, let's just keep the surprise on. And yeah, it would have been complicated to try and pretend. Yeah. Oh, they're making jokes about how hard it is to pretend not to know. Yeah, so they're going to discover at the same time as all of us what is going to be announced, and all three of them have no idea what is about to be announced. Yeah, so they were putting their hoodies on and trying to avoid them so they don't have to talk to them and tell them what's going on. So, you three, what are you expecting from next year? For Dofus 3, okay. I left Pro Team talk a lot more about Retro, but for Dofus 3, we are in an epoch where things are happening. It's fast moving. I talk very often with the community about what they expect, and I think it's primarily the evolution of the game, the interface morphing and growing. New interface, new functionalities, new features, new content. a new extension. A lot of people are talking for a while about the Osamoda's Divine Dimension, the biggest expansion for iGhost 4. I often see things like that pass in front of me, and this is pure speculation. I'm not saying, I have no idea what you guys are going to announce, but I'm expecting a big year for to make the players stay in Dofus 3 and they continue their adventure, their characters. We shouldn't forget the historic servers and keep updating them. Nozada, from my side, I would add something very specific. I don't know if it's going to be the topic, but will we have more information about paddocks, breeding? Is it a system that you like or not? Short term, long term? And another question that I have is recipe. Everything that is nuggets, roses of sand, pebbles, everything that is annexed to the game, that is involved in the main game, in the PVM side. And I would like to add, will we have a possible knowledge about a game called Dofus that is going on PC? Well, whereas we have one already. Is it for 2025? Is it still in the plans, the 21? So let's tackle the humility part where we talk about the game in large. Yes, you will see at 7 for every one of the projects. You will get loads of announced, the calendar, the global vision, the strategic plan that we have in terms of updates and content. And for answers, a lot more details about the recipes, for example. Yes, it's a topic I'd love to address. It's a very big topic. It's not something that that will be the topic of an upcoming update soon. So dimensional fabric, nuggets, all those. There's a lot of public waiting to hear what we're going to change. A lot of problems waiting to be solved. But yeah, in honesty, it is something that we need to address, especially with the Pioneer servers. Making an item is cool, but if it requires 10,000 pebbles, it's really hard. So for people who started their Emerald Office, for example, the Soul Stones, it's all good wanting to craft them for your Emerald, for your Ochre, but then the moment you realize there's pebbles, it slows most people down and it brings negative emotions, and it's not necessarily something we want to keep in the game. But we keep telling you that it's something that touches the entirety of the recipes of the game, and there is a big interest in getting it right because it touches PVM, PvP, and just casual play like breeding and things like that. It's a fat topic, and clearly I can't tell you exactly when, but it's something that we're thinking about. It's interesting for us to know that it's something that you're thinking about, but it's not necessarily something that you think it's perfect for us. We're not going to touch it. Just for me or for us, it's great to hear that it is the case, that you're not satisfied with it and you're not doing anything towards it. Oh, it's great, yeah, of course. Everyone does different activity in the game, but everybody wants... maybe if you say we want to remove pebbles or something like that, a bunch of people will be like, oh, hold on, that's how we make commas, why would you remove that from us? So it makes it so that we have to think about the entirety of the players, because it's not one part of the game that will be touched by this modification, it's the entire game. But it's important to think about it because it is part of the entirety of the economy that will be touched by this, so we're very careful. So Dofus, where the economy is as open as possible, the smallest possible change is very impactful, so it is a big topic, and it's something that we have to think about. Breeding, I will ask you to wait for a good 23 minutes, and it's something that you might see in a certain video. I don't know, I'm not gonna say anymore. It's possible. The teasing for breeding, wow. Careful. You will have the time to benefit from your paddocks and play. Just a quick message. Just a quick message. My guild, if at 8 PM you could just buy a paddock, because that's when 15 days end. Now it's when I talk about features, I'm thinking about Infinite Dreams, I'm thinking about Colosseum, I'm thinking about alliances, guilds. There's a lot of demands. I don't want to get too much into the detail. But generally, just to get back a little bit, so a lot of the community has rejoined us after Dofus 3 release, and they have missed a lot of the features that we've added and or removed, like reworking achievements, removing idols, reworking recipes. There's some things that the game design team has followed. They follow this vision to make sure that the Pioneer servers, they find this return of, oh, I can capture a boss, fight it ×8 so that I can drop the rare thing, the rare mat, because it has a lot of value, and it's something that we've missed from 2.0, and there's loads of features that we have got successfully for this release, and we're not finished, we're still working on them. There's a lot of features that are getting older, depreciating, so it's really important for us to go back on them. Like breathing, for example, it's a really old, it has never changed since 2008, for example, but it still is a big component of the economy at large. And I can't even think about one server, for example. It's a small, in every server, there's a handful of players. You can count them, and they drive the entire side of that economy. So we want to give the opportunity to everyone so that everybody could do breathing as intensely as those handful of people. It's a margin of progression that we are working on. We don't want it to be just for the hardcore people. But we have to think about it and its impact on the economy generally before we make any change. Pro team, do you have anything to add? Yeah, I just want to bounce on this very point. I have questions about retro, but even 3.0, because I'm invested in it. Slowly, the game is healing. We're going back to something a bit more towards the old style, drop items that was brought back. So I'm finding that the game is more interesting to me than what it was before. And as you say, even on retro, we see a lot more breathing, real estate, houses. It's super elitist. For example, breathing, you generate 3 million of scrolls, and then you feed your entire server, and it impacts some aspects of the game. So people would do dungeons that would get scrolls, and they just get abandoned because this guy has flooded the market with 3 million scrolls. I don't know what's gonna happen with breathing, but yeah. There's breathing that we talk about Dofus 3, but there's also some beautiful announcers for Dofus Retro. As you've said it, one of the things that frustrates me massively as a retro player, although I'm playing 3.0 right now because of the Pioneer server. But as you say, the fact that you have some zones and areas that completely lost interest because somebody's flooding the market. Because I always love the experience of doing a dungeon 10 times to get my intel scrolls. So when you have breathing, comes and breaks a complete big number of areas that are no longer farmed just because of that one other aspect. So farming is cool, yes, but if you farm at a loss, it's not interesting. So you go and do Crackler Dungeon and other ones. He mentioned bots that take over this, and they were like, let's not talk about that. We are making sure that we have passes where we ban them in waves from these 2 dungeons in retro that are heavily botted. But yeah, the generation of Dofus becomes limited to a few things because other people take care of other things. So the charm of this kind of farming is lost. And typically there are formulas that are present in other games, like Wakfu I can mention, that has some really cool things for this side that make it so that the game, in terms of content and leveling, keep and retain an interest over the long term. He's complaining that he felt like he was gonna get all the heat. Because here they're talking about all the games, but the focus is on 3.0. So the expectations, les attentes. Unless you have another remark for Dofus, can you please tell us? Yeah. Yeah, they're congratulating each other on their progress and things like that. Maybe he'll join them in the future. He's preparing a touchy subject, which is... so he wants to talk about a touchy topic. He said there was a story of DDoS, right? DDoS attacks. We want to know the full extent and how much of the DDoS attacks have impacted the bugs that we have seen in game, And so it doesn't justify all the problems in the game, but we want to know the full extent of it. So at the DDoS, I want to do this very quickly. Globally, DDoS is having a massive influx of data coming or requests coming that stop you being able to service everyone. Or so there was some DDoS that were doing on the website. You need to know globally the web servers are the ones that are responsible for the connection. The information of accounts are good and transmitted to the server of the game, and the server can say yes, you can stay connected and things like that. Yeah. And so it was like that for a couple of hours, and once players were able to connect, because we were able to fend off a part of the attack, they went to the actual game servers. So for the servers, they figured where the range of IP is, where they're located. Once they figured this out, it becomes really easy to attack him. Most big companies in the world, Twitch takes DDoS, YouTube happens for them. Most big companies in the world just get DDoS attacks on the regulars. So for us, it was the absolute first time, to my knowledge, that we take an attack of this size and magnitude. Where it had a big impact is at the connections level. There was a certain infrastructure server side. If the server lags, there has to be a rollback, obligatory. From memory, it was the Cal 6 and 5 were the most impacted with this thing, but these responsible of bugs were not responsible client side. So things that you see, interfaces, UI, nothing to do with the DDoS. This is a part that is to do with us. We haven't done the work perfectly, and sadly it has made it so that for those 2 weeks a big part of the team, server side or us, project chefs and management, we had divided our attention between debugging and reinforcing our infrastructure so that there is no rollback as a result of these attacks. So we've put something technical in place. I'm not going to give you any more details to not tip off, but generally when there is an attack between 30 and 40 minutes, an attack that is happening, it will disconnect between 2,000 to 4,000 people, but the server stays clean and it's playable, so there is no rollback despite the disconnect and everything that has happened. Already this is a big security feature. So you can see with Draconeros, for example, when we had it was blocked from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. There was no human intervention. The server was blocked. So this is what we're trying. This is the project that we had to work on, and I had divided our attention because the DDoS that were a priority that made the entire experience for everyone mediocre. People were not able to join. And we had the debugging as well. So if we didn't take care of the DDoS, the debugging would not matter because you wouldn't be able to log in to see it. So we had to cut connection by countries because DDoS usually come from foreign countries. Russia, for example, China. These are countries that are known for these cybersecurity problems. They're usually international. And the solution that a lot of companies do is just cut the IP from the entire area for 2 weeks and then problem solved. But we try to balance it. After 2 weeks now, we have good security. It was a big hit for us. If anything, just the attention that we had to deploy in order to remedy it and solve it. We were not completely ready, to be completely honest. We had to react rapidly because we absolutely were not prepared. And we've lost a lot of sleep hours from many teams, but because it has affected communication, IT, game design. There were tens and tens of people internally here that struggled with this, and it has tainted a little bit our release. But when I say that we have lots of security put in place, things are going well, and maybe between now and New Year, it should be a lot better. I'm seeing time advanced. And we knew there were going to be touchy situations and hard stuff like this. But I think the point here today is 2025. So I know Noza, you play principally in Wakfu. But let's start with Dofus. What are your expectations for Wakfu in the next few years? We've got loads of expectations. To begin with, we're expecting the update that was said but then was postponed, so we're waiting for the date of this update to begin with. At the level of the content, we don't have necessarily have any idea about content. We've heard about Nox, so we want the updates about Nox, how it will look like, the island, how it will look like. We know that there will be a decap to level 245. So we're waiting for the knowledge of how the curve looks like. Is it going to be linear? Is it going to be hardcore? We want to see the IOP, Shram and Panda reworks. What are we expecting as well? The interface rework as well, which will be a major point for the game. It will be a big change, and I hope that we will have some visuals now, which would be really cool. It would be really cool. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I think he's pushing. Yeah, it would be really cool if you showed them something. So here, having done 15 days of Dofus 3, I would say dynamize fights, which fights in Wakfu which feel a bit longer. In Wakfu, maybe find something like Dofus 3, like something in the middle where the fights are more fluid and fast flowing. We also had an evolution of the tactical mode. Maybe if you could enhance it with a semi-tactical mode so you can see the environment and yeah. All of that, just that's all you expect, and they're having a laugh. I would like to see, at least you've got a full-on 2025, you're sorted. You're sorted. Yeah, you've got a full-on year. You, Humility, Pro Team, do you have some sort of expectation? I know you don't play Wakfu much, but do you have any ideas, something that you'd love to see in the game? For Wakfu, what globally comes towards Wakfu, it's people find it hard to get settled in the game because of the visual aspect. I know he couldn't get the word right. Having played it for a good amount of time, I understood this game right now, which is a real problem. And the game in itself, I join Noza in saying, we talk about it often, that is why I don't play it. That's because I know I will spend a lot of time, and it's a game that I know excellent, that has cool mechanics, and the fact that you can block levels is really superb. Don't get ahead of yourself. Calm down, calm down. I gotta be excited. Sorry. The game is excellent. There are some things in the game that make it. You have good time. You can go back to a previous level tranche and re-experience it at its own difficulty. And also, yeah, I would say the interfaces, the visual aspect, like I said, the fights. I think principally for me, it's all visual. It's all visual things that need to change in Wakfu. And I'm just going to say everything that we have seen from your updates since 2019. The updates have been smashing it. The succession of updates have been great. And it's a game that makes you want to play it. Thank you very much. That pleases us so much. And you, Humility, what about you? I see a lot of people talk about Wakfu, Dofus Touch, the fight. Which one you prefer? No. There's no there's no Dofus Touch in that fight. No, there isn't. I often get Dofus Touch players that ask me, when are you coming back on the game? It's really hard to get invested in multiple MMOs if you have already spent a massive amount of time getting settled in Dofus Touch or Dofus Retro. So Waven, they're not talking about Waven today, so when they say Waven, mention it, he's like, no, I'm not gonna mention it. What I found massive in Wakfu is that when you come from Dofus, because I didn't know the game, I've done an adventure in Monoka, so to get settled and understand how it works, all these mechanics, like if you hit in the back you make more damage, some mechanics were really cool that blew my mind deeply. And I feel like these two are sandboxes. Dofus, we do some really cool features and we put them on Wakfu, and then we take some cool features from Wakfu and put them in Dofus. And I feel like it's more Wakfu to Dofus than anything else. But the game is really cool. And I think if an adventure would restart and I would go back on it, I think the interface is essentially something that I would necessarily expect to rework. A new class, there's no Forge Lance in Wakfu. Is it expected to integrate it? I was gonna go back on Dofus Touch as well, but I don't know if we can continue on Dofus Touch while talking about WoW. Yeah, go on, he's dressed up for this. is ready for you. Dofus Touch necessarily we talk about recipes, global balancing, new extension, new classes, some things that are different from Dofus Touch is evolving completely differently from the normal Dofus 3 or Retro and Wakfu Waven and all. So it's independent. New class, I would really like that. The balancing, and maybe a new feature, complete new type of content added, like new ones that are specific to Dofus Touch, like the Ascension and other things like that. I don't know if you've played it. When you do PvM, what resembles to Infinite Dreams. Yeah, so we've done some floors, and you have to be the first to reach some floors, some competitive PvM, which is really cool. Now I'm thinking about Infinite Dreams for Dofus 3, for example. Some balancing for those new rewards from them. So we're not going to hide from it. 2024 was a mega year. We had a new relaunch with new servers, and the game has never been as well as this year in terms of players and everything else. Every stat is doing nothing but increasing. Every year it has been increasing, but this year was stellar. You've said it earlier, but I don't know if I should say. I'm not gonna give you stats. There is more people that play Dofus Touch since Dofus 3 release. This is the force of Ankama. It's like it's seen as a new era of Dofus globally. The hype from this brings people to the other. This is why we talk about the transmedia in Ankama. But here, we have a tendency to think that players move from one game into the other. But really, what we think, once Dofus 3 was launched, players have gained. There's more people that went to Dofus Touch. So the company as a whole shines when one of its core components shines momentarily. Everything else benefits from it. So when you think about when you think about Dofus right now, the new generation, when you think about Dofus, you wipe out your tablet and then you look it up. Whereas now, our older generation, you go to your PC to look things up. Yeah, so, and it defines which Dofus you play ultimately. This is what we found. And this is why we have two varying, completely different communities. So you have people who play either Touch or Dofus. There will always be people that jump between the two. But if you look at your communities, you'll see that on the base, you will switch between two. And but it's a real strength of Ankama. The tablet, it's for young people still, now today. Yeah, the tablet for young is not correct anymore. It's all phone nowadays. Tablet was our generation of young people, but not anymore. Yeah. You telling me that I'm a boomer because I just bought a tablet. The phone is the first tech gadget that you get from your parents, so the reflex is there, and that makes it, yeah. I don't have stats to know how many more tablets than phone. So young people, if you talk to them about tablets, it's something of for older people. Yeah, it's they and now they're just talking about TikTok now. They're just talking about TikTok and apps generation. They no longer post on Instagram, they're all on TikTok now. And he mentioned Facebook and they're just laughing at him. So for the expectations on Dofus Touch, I would say new features, things that make the game evolve, because it is evolving. Balancing, Colosseum. We have got some big ambitions. It's called a Project D. Yeah, it's a project that we've teased a month and a half ago. We had loads of, you could drop items that would take you to a YouTube video. What? We have a Dofus Touch Discord, and there was a channel that was created, and you can see in the last month it is more active than every single channel combined. It was incredible to see. And is it going to be teased tonight? Yeah. We're going to tell you. The name of the video ended by 18th of December, so today you will figure out a lot more about it. So this video, I mentioned it, will present every single project of Ankama on the year 2025. The news, directions, the novelties, new type of content, all the projects with the exception of multiple. There's one absent, that is Waven. As we've said in the news, it will not be present tonight. It won't be on the video because they had a lot more. They're working on multiple things at the time, for the time being, and it didn't fit very well with this video right here, which was more hype. Here's what is happening. I'd like to say that right now there's too many things in the work in Waven that fitting them in a big video will not do it justice. They need to have their own life. So stay tuned. If you want to know more about Waven, you'll get more information soon on it. But now we will present all the other projects. Yeah, everything that is coming soon. You haven't said, but there's Twitch drops today. In a minute we will be able to release everything, but to remind, there is Twitch drop, so make sure to connect your account, log it. There is Hitch items, so Twitch sets, and these things are incredibly rare. If you come across someone that has a Twitch shield or the set, you're like, wow, it's crazy. Right, so I think we are ready to send. 30 seconds and we're going. Yeah, I would like to thank the IT department and people in the comm department that have managed to organize this event. It was a lot of work to organize all of this, and you will, if you miss this, you will find the recaps and everything on the websites, social media and things like that. Thank you to all of them. Right now there is a comm team on X that is going to communicate. So now we're about to watch the video. Welcome to Ankama Showtime. Tonight we're going to tell you everything that is expected to arrive in our mangas games in 25. Before that, make sure you sit comfortably and discover the big theme that will be 2025. The yearly theme is always driven by. In 2025, Bestial is the theme of this year. Bestial is the story of Yiren, a young Osa whose mission is to protect these mythical creatures, the last one of its species, the Eland. Twice you have met it before, in the webtoon of Lanceur and the season 4 of Wakfu. Bestial is a series of 7 episodes of 12 minutes each. It will be broadcast in early access in ADN, and it will be available later on the launcher. Doria Games, we're working on Savara. It's an action roguelike game in the IOP world. Whew. A while back we brought some 4,000 player with 3,000 wish list. We've exchanged with a lot of you. We got loads of feedbacks and we were pleased to be able to interact with the community like this. Soon we'll be able to meet in the Steam Fest for official release 24th of Feb. Once again, we've added loads of content, weapons, mechanics, traps, and it would be a pleasure to meet you again and redo the exercise of getting your feedback and enhance the game for the official release. In Ankama Edition 2025, it will come out on the last and the 5th for the August. You know this legendary ogre that everybody knows? A few years, Mig decided to tell the true story of Ogrist. Yeah. Why did this green and very cute little ogre found himself at the top of the Zenith Mount with 6 Dofuses? Effectively, you know the legend, but do you really know the real story? The final volume will come out in February and it will be available in collector version in a box that will allow you to put all the previous ones together with acrylic. This series of 5 tomes will not be available for everyone. Since the old time, there was a mysterious island that will appear. It traps adventurers that could not escape the island. When the island disappears, it leaves nothing but a little mist cloud. That's why we call it the Misty Isle. This island that you will be able to explore during the next Wakfu update next year. In this, there will be multiple zones that keep loads of secrets. There will be a lot of characters to come across. Others will be your allies, while most will be your enemies. Like Nox, who is the antagonist of the Wakfu series. You will learn a lot more about this character. From the start of the series, you will meet the Tofu Brotherhood and he will put his diabolical plan. In this island, you will find loads of monster families, 5 to be precise, that we've developed specifically for this release. You will be able to open the level cap. Effectively, you'll be able to move from level 230 to level 245. In terms of transmedia, we have added loads of content around osmosis. That's our theme, especially around the series Bestial, with a new quest that will obviously take those characters, the universe, and will allude to the events of the series. This quest will be a link. Osamodas has prepared some new challenges for you to face, so I will meet you soon on there. One of the biggest requests of the Wakfu community was to evolve the interfaces of the game. We took this topic seriously, and since about a year now, we have announced a complete rework of the entirety of the interfaces of the game. We've reworked the markets. Now we will go towards the quest tab and the guild tabs. So we've reworked the UI interfaces so that we could integrate them in game. This year we will go much faster. We will revamp the ideas and rework of them so that they fit the global thing. Our goal really is to redo all of the game's interfaces to do one by one. That's why we need your feedback to go as quickly as possible and provide interfaces that really do work for you. So go to the forum and put all of your thoughts there. When it comes to balancing, we have prepared a massive pass on these 3 classes. These are the priority and we will work on them during the entire year. I have some ideas for the IOP that will have a new combo system that will extend to all the elements. So these uppercut, a spell of 3rd bar that you will be able to pick depending on the last spell that you've cast. Some other passes and updates will appear during the year. And finally, I would like to say I'm very happy to announce new systems in Wakfu. Many systems have evolved over the last few years and we will modernize a lot of them and reset them. Wakfu is a game in perpetual evolution and we will go back to the promises. She's good. The ecology, politics, PvP gameplay is all things that give it a charm to the game Wakfu. These are systems as well that will link all the functionalities of the game at the same time. These are subjects a bit complicated, but the team really wants to evolve them, and I'm so happy to be able to announce these for you finally, to tell you about them, to show you what we've worked on throughout the entire year. Truly, 2025 will be a massive year. Last year, after Wakfu Season 4, and under the writing of Clément and Todd, we had the big wave, Wakfu Season 4. If you haven't seen the Wakfu Season 4, close your ears. We will find the all of life has found life. So during a wedding of Sadida and Elio, Hugo is poisoned and is said. You can find this adventure in pre-pub in our webtoon starting from January, and in paper format starting from March. Wakfu Season 5 will be the last season. It is the conclusion of 16 years of animated of the Brotherhood of Tovus. 26 years, 26 episodes. We will introduce a new narrative arc and a new antagonist. A new antagonist, not really, but I'm not going to spoil everything. We've started writing the first episode, and we're very, very excited to share this adventure with you. So we expect to communicate massively on the project. I have one last bit of revelation for you for Wakfu. In 25 February, we will start a crowdfund season to accompany the Season 5. And trust me, you're not ready. You're really not ready for what's coming. See you in February. Next, she had to have lunch. All good.
But did she have any of the fish pie?
No.
Oh, it's got milk in it. I didn't notice.
The first update. The possibility to target a monster that you're looking for. So if you decide to go and look for this mob right here because you want to make a Ben, so you can target all of those, and then you can see all the monsters. Oh, in a group you'll be able to see whether the monster you're looking for is there or not. And a new functionality that is really cool, one that is really, really requested, that is incredible. It's finally being able to dissociate your items from your cosmetics. So there will be a new tab for your cosmetics where you'll be able to dissociate your items for fights, and you will be able to look your best. A new functionality that I can already show you. It's Meijin players. So we've removed a description from the interface so you can see more lines. On this update as well, we will be able to go back on class balancing. We already have multiple ideas. We won't tell you everything. We will wait for the next update for that. And then one really lovely addition for us, just to wrap it up in style, a new event will appear in game. You know, there's loads of events in game, bonus XP, drop, dungeon, access unlimited. We wanted to find new style of things that we think, okay, we have found one. We won't spoil you the surprise, but I think you'll bloody love it. So at the end, we had, you know, Bestial. We did not discover it yet, and we want to do something, a little nod in game for this Bestial. Namely, the incredible, this cute, yeah. I thought the best way to propose these creatures in Dofus Touch would be to leave you the possibility to control two entities. For now, we're still thinking about the best way to do that, but we'll come back to you next year with an update. And just to go back, next year we will go back on a massive quality of life plus narration. We've gone back on Ashrub, Kanya, Albuera for some years, and now we've got some areas that we want to continue enhancing and bettering. And we also go on the shop. The objective really is to propose a shop that is less old, more ergonomic, and easier to find what you're looking for. And for the last part of the year, there it is. We can finally reveal this massive project that was announced over a year ago. This update that we had a lot of fun with. We have spoiled a lot of elements of it in the game a month ago. Notably, the video that was hidden in the area. So the project called Didal. How do I explain to you the madness that this labyrinth is? To explain this, it's a new game system that has never existed on Dofus Touch. It's like a game within the game. It's a roguelike that you will be able, roguelite exist in the game. So you'll be able to do multiple runs where every single experience will be unique and different. As you know, in the Office Touch, we try to provide different PVM formats to correspond to different types of players. So we've proposed raids that you play at 6, whereas the game is played at 4. But this functionality will be presented for level 200s and only 2 players at once. And it will be in the world of this cube. So these 2 people will get into this cube, and it will provide treasure rooms, mini boss rooms, big boss rooms. The principle of this idea is to live an adventure with a friend that is never the same. So if one day you decide to go with your best friend with a Shram, and tomorrow with an IOP friend, well, you will live 2 completely different experiences. You'll get new equipment with new characteristics and power that you've never had before that will help you go on this adventure. So as the more you advance, the more you get rewards. You keep going until you lose, and if everything that you've accumulated, you lose. You will go empty-handed. But there will be multiple rooms that allow you to save your progression and say, okay, I don't see that I'm going very far. I'm just gonna stay here and keep all of your rewards, knowing very well that if you go 1 or 2 more rooms, you might get better rewards. There's a reason why we tell you this a year before, because people inside, we could not hold it back anymore, and it is the occasion for us to move towards the creation of this new game mode with you. So at the end of this Ankama Live, you will get a devlog that will present the whole concept, how it works, and during the entire next year we will propose various devlogs that will tell you about the entire functionalities, the rewards, the way the rooms are generated randomly. And the idea is to share the progress of the project and get your feedback, so that towards the end of the year we give you the best Labyrinth game mode. So I give you a rendezvous on the devlog tonight, and see you later. Spoiler alert, have you heard more chicken? There's a reason you haven't. It's a project that is being written starting from this summer only. It's an animated web series for 2025. It will be posted on your YouTube. So More Chicken is a story of a Shram who has a dream to become the big boss of a truly badass dungeon. The problem is, he's unlucky. When you're unlucky, when you're broke, and you're surrounded by the wrong kind of evil, then your dreams becomes a nightmare very quickly. Co-written and made by Todd and Malik. It is full of humor, dark, very very dark humor. Just warning you already. For 2025, the Office Retro, we're planning to come back on lots of little points. The first semester, we're working on the revaluing of areas. Concretely, this means we're going back on some recipes, like low-level ones. So your rune breaking will be more advantageous. We want to repopularize some dungeons that were a bit forgotten. We want to push forth a new game mode with daily quests. You know, like including the gladiatorial tracking for PvP, but also for dungeons. Last September, we have surveyed you on the update. Which one interests you the more? The one you've picked was the rework of gathering professions. So we will better the current system to give you more interactivity. I'll give you an example. Once the mineral is gathered, you will be asked to click on some specific places to play a minigame and get more out of it. The gathering time will be shortened, and you'll have more things to engage with. So if it is worked really well, it will perform well for you. It will increase your engagement. It will allow more players to hope to get more resources. And last but not least, it will allow us to detect much easier the cheaters. And to finish the year in beauty, we will propose a new game mode instead of a Temporis, because yes, Temporis, yeah, everybody's happy, yeah, sure, but there is a bit more problems. One of the biggest problems of the Temporis is that it depopulates current servers at the expense of temporary ones. So to remedy this, we will introduce seasonal events. You will be invited to create a new type, a seasonal character, to have a seasonal rush within your server and interact only with the seasonal players with you. So you won't be able to interact, exchange, trade with existing traditional players. So you will see the entire gameplay revamp, new spells, class modifications, mob mechanics. Every season will be accompanied by a new game system. And to start it very well, I have the pleasure to introduce a new achievement in game. No, there won't be any Kama's experience or rewards, but you will get some cosmetics as a result. The seasonal characters will become normal characters at the end of the adventure. So we'll go back and discuss these enhancements, and we are really excited to display them for you at some point in the future. In 2025, after the 20 years of Dofus, it's Ankama edition that is celebrating 20 years. A year full of new additions, expos, events, commercial operation. We will celebrate this year as best as possible, because in 2025 is the year we will release the 20th Radiant volume. So you have two animated series. Radiant is the essential made in France manga. Last year we released the first spin-off, Sifander Chronicles. This year we'll go on even better. Tony Vallant will manage his own spin-off on his own called Fantasia. We meet each other to, first of all, celebrate 3.0 release that has happened at the end of this year. It really was a marking event for us, for the community. We can only thank you for being here. We have exploded all the records. We have opened way more servers than we expected at the start, which was exciting and motivating for the entire team. So we can only thank you for being here for this new porting, this new chapter for the game, and this new adventure that we're starting with you. This new adventure is also marked by a new adventure in March, which is an update of enhancement of Alliance versus Alliance and UI. So first of all, we'll go on the UI. As you know, what we have released in December is good, but not sufficient. We can go further, and it's part of the feedback we've gotten from the players on the forum posts and everywhere. We really want to enhance everything, and we have an entire formula to deliver in March, which will be beneficial for the game and your experience in game. On the side, we also want to go on the Alliance AVA system, which is, during its last revamp, was not complete. It doesn't work as we wanted it. And we want to go back and make sure that the whole thing that we call King of the Hill, Koth, the zone capture, becomes more fun, reworked. We've got some really interesting ideas game design wise, and we can't wait to share them with you during the beta early next year, so you can test these new systems. In June, we'll be back for the biggest content creation, for the biggest content release in 25, called the OSA Dimension. This is content that it will be part of the transmedia. It's no surprise to you that this year is all Osamodas in all of its way, with Bestial, the story, and we also want to be part of this new party, transmedia party. So in this content, we exploited the entire force of Unity and everything that comes with it. We've put new features. We will also have a main theme that is called hunting. You will have to make choices during your fights to make decisions. Would you like to preserve nature or capture it? These choices will be impactful during the adventure, something that is new for the game, surely, and that will let you explore narratives, as you know, in Dofus. In September, we'll be back for a big update that's all about the renewal, where it comes to Infinite Dreams or Breeding. Breeding is a mechanic that we have not gone back on. It's an old system that it has a monopoly on all servers. It's something that is quite negative in the game. This porting and 3.0 and the theme of modernizations and renewal, we want to revisit these old mechanics and make sure that you have a better experience with it. So the interface, gameplay, and the whole mechanic, I will invite the knowledgeable people in this game to please give us feedback. We will put in place cells to discuss this with people that play this a lot. And yeah, Infinite Dreams is a mechanic that has already seen 2 reworks, haha, but we're still not convinced of the current version that we have in game. And this is why we are doing a 3rd revamp in which we will do things very well, and we want to honor it. It's a mechanic that represents the ultimate goal of PvM. It is the biggest feature in game. It has to be up to your expectations necessarily. So we want to go back on it and polish it so that it's as agreeable as possible and push it forward. And finally, we're going to have a Temporis at the end of the year. Let's go. We haven't had one in ages in Dofus, and we will have a fantastic one this year to celebrate the first year. We will break everything. We will go as far as we can and propose an edition that will break all records. We will rework the entire gameplay, new features. We'll put everything in place that we are adding as we evolve in the game. So yeah, so for this Temporis, it will be the best way to give you a gift next year to celebrate this 3.0 first year with us, our players. Woo! Thanks for watching Ankama Showtime. Now, watch our late show for a debrief with our teams in place. The event continues. Wow. Wow, it's weird. In 24 minutes, you summarize madness, things that you can talk about for 24 hours or more. But here we are. Here we are. There we are. You could bring us meals and we talk about it for 24 hours. We're here, we're here, we're here. So here we have 90 minutes to debrief. We've got loads of topics. Before we've got new announcements. We want to ask questions. It's truly a privilege to be able to ask the team directly after watching this. Come on, give us your feedback, your impressions immediately. It's gonna be a crazy year. Awesome Oda special, the year around the beasts. Yes, we're surrounded by beasts all over the place. The whole showroom has evolved. This is new. Are you spoiling something? What is going on? Some projects that have been done by Moki something, I don't know his name, and the Dragon Turkey has been talked about for a while, and now we have the new layout and type or look of the new Dragon Turkeys. But yeah, now we can show them. You can show them to the camera like you've done. It's cool. They're very stylish. They're not massive, but they're not small either. Big thanks to Enyo, who has done the design of the new Dragon Turkeys. So thank you to all of them. And when you see all these plushies all over the place, it warms our hearts. It summarizes very well the theme of the year, which will be quite bestial. And I was just gonna say the things that surprised me the most was Nox, the antagonist, and Wakfu. I'm not a big game player, but it gives me a crazy, it gave me a crazy desire to play it. And Noza said it. He's gonna start reading the dialogues. As you said, the transmedia thing is really cool with Ankama, and be able to have one of the biggest antagonists in the Ankama universe join in the game or have more story about him is gonna be crazy. We're still looking forward to his arrival in Dofus Retro and others. But yeah, I'd really like to start from the start, which was the announce of the theme of the next year, the bestial theme, the new music, the new theme. I'd like to say that you've reacted and asked some question, and I said we'll talk about it later on so everybody could have the information. Yeah. So it's a music that was done by Pitch with the participation of Gigi, who's an artist that made some music in Waven and also has worked on Bestial as well, the series that is coming out shortly. So it's incredible music that is available on, I'm just asking for confirmation. Is it on YouTube? Yeah, it's good. It's available on YouTube from now. So don't hesitate to go and see it. After the live, of course. Yeah. It's the music of the intro of Bestial? Oh. No. It's a music dedicated to the reveal of the theme. Wow, this is crazy. So the intro is 1.5 minutes. That's the music bit. The music is longer than that. I've listened to it. Personally, I've listened to it. I've discovered it at midday and I've listened to it in the entire afternoon. Beautiful work, team. Yeah, it's really cool. Music dedicated for a theme. I'm a big fan, honestly. Maybe I've missed some info. Bestial is a series. What is it? Is it one season? Do we know how many episodes? How many series? Is it 3, 4, 10, 13? I'm not sure of the number of episodes. So there's 7 episodes. 7 episodes. And it's on ADN. Yeah. 7 times 12 minutes. And of course you will be able to get information on the social networks after this. We've known Launch Steer in the past in this similar style. It's a short format and it gives you the desire to go and watch it because it's short, concise, and it gives you loads of information. Yeah, it's a style that we're familiar with, that we know, like the Nimaltopia style that we're already familiar with. So Bestial is very interesting. What is really interesting with the series, it's the links that have already been made with different universes in the cosmos, like Nimaltopia that was explored in Dofus, or Bestial will have a lot of link to this, and also it's here where the theme will be felt in the entire year during the updates that allow us to highlight this transmedia that is the trademark of Ankama. It's really cool, this Bestial. The characters are stylish and stuff. You have already seen the episodes. No. We haven't seen the episodes, but we've seen the scripts. We had access to the scripts, so the story, narrative. We know the beginnings and the ends of it. Yeah, it's quite stylish. And where it is really cool is the themes that are mentioned there are really mature, that are present in there. We know our trademark. We have some themes that are easy to abort, but some themes that take some reflection and some distance. Some themes that are mentioned there that will give some beautiful things. It was the case in Wakfu. So we're seeing the theme of the maturity as the seasons grow, and yeah, it gives us beautiful themes in terms of animation and story. In any case, it's our universe. We grow with our community. We see it through the games. We see it through our animes. We see it through all the products that we can release. Even the Ankama shop, for example. We have beer. There is some for every age, from kids to the older, for people who are parents. Yeah. I think this is what I find really impressive with Ankama is this. Which projects should we start with? I'd really like to start with Dofus because there's a lot of people will spam it, so might as well just start it. Sure. I don't mind. Let's go back on the bugs. He made the joke. The first update is quality of life. Seriously, let me answer seriously. So, yes, there is a big package of bugs that are still present, and that is why the first update, we know doing content right now is not the really good timing for it. Give you new content when the game is not good to play, it's not agreeable, it's not smooth, it's not great as a formula. So we want to bring you a priority to debug and the UI interfaces. All of them have to become excellent for you to enjoy the game while playing it with the turneries and the team before we give you new content. So the artistic design, a lot of things were missed in interfaces in terms of personality and things like that with the porting. From the moment we released the beta, there was a complete rejection from the community. There was a little bit of usability, but it wasn't gonna last long. It wasn't sufficient to, it wasn't up to our liking to begin with. So the idea is to stabilize the project, stabilize the porting, and make sure that you guys have the projects that you want and that you deserve. And this is why on the debugs we will have a higher debug rhythm than usual. For the week, for example, right, the debugging would happen on a Tuesday during the maintenance, and when I see debug, I mean the changelog was not massively filled because on Flash we were fed up. We found it hard to rework some bugs and things like that. But starting from tomorrow, we will have a new client that will be deployed. Some bugs that will be completely gone, like the invisibility of Shrams that is back breaking in Colosseum, gone. There will be some things in Colosseum that will change. Interface, maybe the soul. Yeah, there is a patch starting from tomorrow. The soul market will, I think tomorrow. We were 6-7 bugs that were fixed when we started the live, and we'll continue at this pace, and we will deliver new clients every 2-3 days depending on what we patched, if there's any big problem solved. And we want to continue on this pace right here. We also changed part of the communication. We have a post that we show you the bug repetition, urgent, important, and not very important. And depending on the status, are they on progress, work in progress, or fully done, or something that will happen starting from the next client. So we give you more communication. We want to be a lot more reactive here and follow up a lot more with the debug that make life a bit hard. We're thinking of one in particular that we haven't attacked yet, which is the challenge choice. Once you're dead, you can't change anymore, and yeah, and you have to trust your friend to pick the right ones. The timeline as well, which is a bit annoying. And not in Colosseum as much. Right now in Colosseum it doesn't show you your enemy, so you don't know who you're facing. Where in PVM sometimes just disappear, and to figure out the initiative and things like that. So there are some things that are high priorities. As I said, on the first part of the year we're focusing on these things, but these are the most important things. And the quality of the game that we want to bring you, quality. If the game is not stable, the content that we want to bring you is going to be useless and not well appreciated. So that's it, bug side. I think we've covered everything. So every week we will continue debugging. Yeah. We have a winter trust. We don't want to do a maintenance for the next 2 weeks unless we have something critical or urgent server side. But we will have some clients that will be deployed. So even in the next few weeks with Christmas and things like that, you will have new clients, new debugs that will happen. And it will also depend on the speed that we have on some correctives, because Christmas, holidays, yeah. But yeah, generally, maintenance wise, we will send you new clients, so we don't have to wait for maintenances to make update. And so interfaces, is it more towards March? Yes. So there will be a beta phase that we haven't yet calibrated with the team, but yes, we will have to have a beta phase so we can have the maximum update, feedback, debugging. But yeah, necessarily we will have a beta phase. But for interfaces, we will have the most important one to take, like breathing. Oh my god, it's one of the ones that we have to go debug sides, because right now it is one of the worst that we've got in the game. It's not agreeable, it's not good to play, there's not enough information. When you hover on a mount, you want to see the tooltip goes away to see the info. It's just horrible. Somebody had invisible dragon turkeys. It was him, Noza. He couldn't do his breathing in the game. So debugging the breathing is important. Other interfaces, Magin for example. This is the example that we've got from Waze. It's not complicated, but we lack space to see the information. Chat, we want to restart it from scratch because we have loads of problems with it. So essentially we have listed 6 to 7 interfaces that were really interesting to rework because they form the basis of the gameplay, and right now we're completely dissatisfied with them. Markets, there's a difference between Soul market and others. It's completely different. There's a formula that we will be able to deliver between tomorrow or Tuesday, next Tuesday. For the other markets, it's other optimizations that didn't pass that we will post. So you know this bug where the pictos change, or you see a different screen, or there's nothing. So you have a market that has completely no when you close the market and reopen it, the last search is still there. You don't need that. Yesterday we've added the enter button to buy. Miracle, nice. For everything, yeah. We want that button to bring everything all at once into the Magin platform. There was a lot of feedback on will we have the return of emotes, or are they gone? Yeah, emotes are coming back, but droplet after droplet. Yeah, honestly, just to stop this sound in front of the paddocks. Yeah, there's a nerve to be had. Yeah, I've started breathing and I couldn't. The boink. Yeah, it was unbearable. So emotes are coming back droplet by droplet slowly, and here it's not one of the joys of the porting. The more we advance, the more we realize the finishers of fight fell under emotes and we weren't able to port them. Without getting into too much detail, once you do an emote, there's an atlas of textures, 3 or 4, that the client has to load all at once. With Flash at the time, it was done very easy. A mini film for the finishers, I think you have known them, and then you've deactivated them because they were 15 seconds. We couldn't deal with it anymore. But Unity, no, it's a big no. It's massive technical constraints to have an emote and to tell them these things, 512 by 512 number of seconds. If you really want to do them like this, we found 200 megabytes or something like that for just an emote or finisher, and it crashes the game immediately. So it's one of the things that surprised us that we found, and we abandoned it. And knowing very well that emotes, we've got tons of them. The little smileys, for example. The aptitudes he was talking about. Are you going to rework the little smileys and things like that? He was just surprised to see that we're having them. The code side, they want the feature to stay where mobs shit talk you with emotes and emojis. Yeah. So he's not gonna debug one thing so that he can work on the emotes. Deal. It's a joke. What about the remainder of the year? What is coming next year? There's also AVA that we want to rework for the first half of the year. We want to bring it for March. It's going to be a bit tense because we have loads of things to do regarding stability of the project. But in essence, what we want to do is bring it in the first half of the year. As I've said in the video, the zone capture, it's not really fun in the game. And the fact that it's not fun makes it nobody participates in it. It's really hard to say as a player, I'm going to test AVAs as a casual. I'm a scout, what do I do? You get aggroed. There's an alliance in front of you, they aggro you. So it ends up being a monopoly in all servers. So the base of it is not fun because the people who know and do it know that they will generate nuggets, and they know they go through the unfun nature of it and just get organized and do it because there's a monetary gain at the end. So there is a rework in the plan to make it more fun. I don't want to sell you the features right now because if I tell you 2 sentences, it will give you the desire to see it, and if we change our minds, then you're gonna be upset. But yeah, you know there's a project in your mind. You know you can't say too much because it's a work in the progress. But the one point that is really important, we want to be able to offer PVM players to join the feature. It doesn't matter, PvP, PVM. We would love to see a formula where it's a PvPVM, where both types of players can participate and PvPVM. No, if I create a new mode like that, people are gonna hate me. No, don't make me do that. No. I'm not gonna give you any ideas. No spoilers. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Really, the PvPVM side, you have to know that our players are principally PVM. I'll just give you the stat globally. It's 90 to 95% of the people are intrinsically PVM. And to make a feature that is so important in PVM. So when you open the map, you see whose prism is and where it is. It's to go and recycle. To say to 95% of our players, this feature is so important for the economy, but it's not for you. It bothers me, and it bothers us game design wise in terms of thinking of a feature where PVM players can engage, have fun. It doesn't mean that pebbles are gone. It doesn't mean that pebbles are dead or anything like that. No. We want to make it fun so that even PVMers, you want to participate in it because it is just fun to participate in. Just this will be a big gain compared to what we have in game. They didn't understand anything. It's not the end of nuggets. Not pebbles, it's nuggets. It's the same logic that I'm talking about. PvP has to exist, has to have an economy. It's really important for the game, it's logical. But to impose PvP things to everything
every gear in PVM. When it came out, it was a big deception. It was a big disappointment for everyone. It's something that we've come back on the Pioneer servers. The pebbles are less omnipresent, first of all. Did we go far enough? I don't know. Maybe next week's will show us, but it's not something that we're closed on. We will still want to go back and see if it worked or not. Our PVM players are the most of our base, but PvP players are not to be ignored as well. We just need to make the optimization closer to everyone than just PvP player. Yeah. We can rework as much as we want with the artificial intelligence. They have a determinist you have a determinist nature, and that's why PvP remains interesting for players. Yeah, they're making jokes about removing Elio portals and traps, summons and traps. Yeah. The moment you place your summons, they just go for them. This is what I mean. AVA, there's a lot of things to do on pebbles. There's a lot of topics like this that we need to continue work on, but the pebbles are unlikely to be the subject of a big update on their own. We will smooth them and enhance them over time. If we focus on one thing like pebbles and do a big update on just those things, means we're just focused on PvP, and we don't do that. What about breeding? As I've said in the video, there will be multiple points that the monopoly side really upsets us. We can't bear it anymore. To sell this feature to the entire community and say this is a really cool feature, it's really profitable, but you will never play it, especially in an MMO. We can't deal with it anymore. The public paddocks are not sufficient. It's good to have a rotation on the Bont Brack, and but you're really capped. Paddocks that you buy at the start of a server 2 mil and you resell it at the end for 300 mil. There's things like this that need to be completely reworked. We don't want to delete breeding, but we want to rework it so that it is more accessible to the globality of our player base. One thing that is really interesting, and you want to get interested in, but from the start I'm telling you the public paddock is more limiting. You've got is less efficient, and you can't fit as much in it. That's it. You can't compete with people who have big paddocks. So guilds that have 20, 30 paddocks, 15 plus, and those who have the 20, 120, it's dead. You can never rival with people like these. Even if you know it, while being a casual player, you don't want to rival these people. The system to begin with stops you joining this game aspect. Yeah. If the system intrinsically stops you, that is weird. We don't like that. We have seen a similar problem with the Havremont, where it was limited and people were a bit struggling for a few months until we allowed everybody to have one. And I understand. I sympathize with the problem that you're dealing with. It's not evident yet. So in essence, for breeding, we're more on the next half of the year towards September. It's same thing with the Infinite Dreams, PSI. It is the feature technically that is endgame for PVM. Aside from the ladder, there's not much competition in there. Yeah. So similarly, the problem with Infinite Dreams is they're heavily bugged. And there's quite formulaic, and it hasn't evolved for a really long time. And it's not enjoyable when you go up in Dreams. You want to pick the fight that you're 100% you're going to win. Or the artificial intelligence is so bugged you make them do some rubbish things. And so going up is not really interesting. And the moment you reach some really high levels, everybody has billions of HP and you hit millions, so it becomes uninteresting, just big numbers without any real substance. And the other thing is rewards. The chest opening is interesting. You can open hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and maybe I get something legendary up. But my legendary item is sufficiently generated, so it's not interesting, so I need to go and look for another one. It's not really fun. When you define all this, and you see this is the end game PVM, but essentially you say, I'm just going to go and do dungeons, they're more interesting. So Infinite Dreams, there's a lot more modern things to go and look for, like bugs, for example. The artificial intelligence is terrible. Some bosses you don't want to go and fight because back in the day, Tengu, you don't want it because as long as he didn't summon those 2 bloody summons, it's dead. There are some things like this that we need to tackle. And also, while having in mind, I said this about AVA, it has to be fun. The element, the central element is fun. We shouldn't forget that if something is just hard for the sake of being hard, there's no interest in doing that. We're just making something hard that people don't want to play. There's 3 or 4 that play it and show you how to beat this. No, out this floor. We need to think about the fun of the mechanic and make you want to try it and engage with it. And this is why Infinite Dreams, it's not fun. It's fun on the very first dreams. You see, you get the idea. Once you do 10, 20, you don't want to do any more of them. And yeah, you suffer and endure them rather than enjoy them. So there's a rework to be done here that will arrive towards September. And that is why September will be a marker in terms of big reworks. And here we just... Oh my god. I've spoiled the date without meaning to, but it's September. You got it. Yeah. So between June and September, I will not spoil the date. Now I'm gonna save my face. But the awesome modus between the beginning of the year and September. Yeah, it will be around before summer globally. You will have the Osa dimension. So the divine dimension, it's the thing that is exciting us the most in the team. It's something that everybody wants to work on. Yeah, we know there's still the debugging to do and things like that, the interfaces, but the divine dimension Osa modus is what we want to do most in. From what I've seen, oh my god, it's gonna be wild. What you don't know, Sue he has a curse of reading all the documentation pages of all projects, so he knows everything about the moment we go out of a meeting. He already tells me this is gonna be crazy, despite not being on the project. So yeah, so the Osa dimension is what we want to capitalize on. What you've seen, the evolution of maps during the fight that you've seen in the Japan Expo. We've talked about the divine dimension only, but we want to add guild raids, for example, in order to enhance the category of guilds. Aside from the chest, you've got absolutely nothing. Something that we want to add in the divine dimension. Is it something that we knew? 3 areas, very high level. We're not sure. There might be some exotism there. And this dimension, we really want to push the bar really high. I prefer to say it's not going to be evident. We are in a sort of crucial, a turning point of the life of the project, because A, we're stabilizing, and B, we are getting to grips with the tools that we're using. So to animate something, to address something in the ecology, a system of ecology, yeah, I'd say maybe not. The Wakfu experience means that it's quite difficult to treat. The macro themes, as I've said, it's really interesting. It gives a strong identity to the project, but my god, in terms of design, especially on an MMO, leave it to Wakfu. Yeah. It's a really cool feature, generally speaking. But yeah, essentially, just to give you an example, we really want to explore the notion of cycles, a real experience of cycles within the OSA, like a guild post, and the cycle is interrupted, and the cycles translate differently. It will have an impact on the world. One, on the level design, the effects, the progression of the look of it. Just to give you a small example that we know on Wakfu. A similar example, well, with the Ogrest fight, in a cyclical manner, Ogrest cries, screams, thunders, and does things. But every time a team has won and has defeated them, it becomes the calm in the entire world of 12. So it's something that we want to explore. Mainly thanks to the Unity evolution of tools that we have. So day and night cycle, what do you call them? The seasons. So who says new divine dimensions? Would you say a new access, a revamp of the access, move away from treasure hunts, modify the system maybe? So there are things that we're thinking about game design side. As a basis, we've done it once and we've never done it. Please calm down. And we were thinking about it. The treasure hunt has to be done once from the so you can get the portal position from, if somebody does the treasure hunt, everybody can just go to the dimensional tower and get the information. So once the portal is gone, somebody has to do the treasure hunt. But the moment the portal is out there, you can just go and obtain the information in game. These are things that we are thinking about. I don't want to sell you the idea and say this is the exact formula. And yeah, generally speaking, dimensions from the last one was 2016. The last one was Ecoflippers. So it's been a few years. And there's formulas within the last ones that needs relooking. So treasure hunts, we know it. We all put a /R. Is there a portal position? And if you don't get it, then you just go, yeah, I've got other quests, we'll see later, and then you just keep going. So we know very well that this is gonna be this mechanic is not great, but yes, we want to simplify things and make the information more available in game for everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for people who play that do the quest and do the treasure hunt and the update things in game for us, whereas usually it's 10,000 comments for the information. We know this. Yes, because we know this in early servers. Is there a rogue around? Yes, I want your hair, so that's gonna be 10,000 comments. I was going to say with the is there going to be an OSA rework on the back of the OSA dimension? Well, we haven't announced it, but yes, we want to do an OSA rework. We haven't announced it yet. We haven't announced it in the video, but it's something that is still in the thinking phase. It's a really cool question. It's asked a lot. But yeah, there's a theme. There's an OSA theme this year. There's a difficulty on the class itself. Reworking it will do great good to the entire community. But yeah. We've started the work on it, but at the same time, I don't have enough information to tell you. Something has disappeared in the tech. Their screen has switched off. Yeah, essentially that's what we want. The OSA rework is something that has been requested multiple times, and it's something that we will have to look at. The summons, for example, and being able to transform yourself was interesting. It was dynamic, but it's not really interesting. It has big problems in terms of balancing on it. Why don't we just go back on the entire formula and come up with something more interesting? So I don't know classes very well, and globally, the feedback that I've got, you can play all classes and they're all alright in what they do, but you never talk about OSA modus. I just realized while talking about OSA, nobody's ever asked me to test it. It's one of the weakest classes in terms of picking. You can feel it now on the number of people that are level 200. The OSAs, you don't have many of them, sadly, yeah. You can say none, but yeah. Yeah. So OSA is the only one that has not yet had a Pioneer achievement level 100. There's only 3 servers that are missing. But yeah. Yeah, essentially, yeah. Go and level on OSA if you want some points for your team. Yeah. It's a class that we need to go back on, and we propose a new formula because globally, the IT team, there's a lot of hype from the messages that we're getting on Twitter. It will please us a lot, and it's one of the most emblematic classes, the Summoner class. It's one of, yeah, it made us love the game. There were some abused mechanics like the tofu spam, but yeah. It's funny that people don't play OSA, but as a companion people take Ectop, which is the awesome modus of retro, the crackler, the AP. Reduce the animation of sidekicks, please. In creature mode, he spams and moves fast, but I want to add another question. The hero mode, because we've mentioned it a little bit. What is it still expected? Is it still coming? Yeah, it's still something that we need to work. Because multi-account player will give me reason. Performers are not up to the rendezvous. For people who are used to play 8 accounts, you're very quickly blocked and you have to go to 8 and sometimes 2. Yeah, essentially hero mode is something that we are still working internally, but we're not going to make any announcement about when we want to release it, when we're gonna get it. We know you. The moment we mention it a little bit, a small amount every week, it's but where is the hero mode? Where is? Yeah, it's a massive project to work, many months, at least 6 to 8 months of dedicated work on just the idea itself. We can't talk to you about it because you'll be more pressed than ever about it. Yeah, so talk to you about it now is not interesting because it's really extensive to develop. Yeah, so to get asked about this every 5 minutes, it's really hard for us to see. There's nothing to see in terms of procedure. The amount of data to process and things like that is crazy. To propose the hero mode, but how are you going to, so that all accounts, or do we propose a hero mode where the entire team is ported on one account, or a hero mode where you can log multiple accounts, or what? How do we propose it? Just character transfer, make it a paid, and then you rake it in. Yes, we can do that and rake it in, but it's a bad formula for player retention and satisfaction. There's also 20 years of history. Myself, having played multi-account a lot, the moment where the hero mode potentially arrives, I have to ask myself, my 8 accounts of main accounts, do I port them all on one? What is the formula that we're going to propose? How do we make it so that we're not losing too much in this story? This sub, will there be an up for a hero mode, or because you're not subbing 8 accounts anymore? It goes way further than just the technical aspect of having the actual hero mode. Yeah, but the need for it is there, and it's not even a question. Maybe Wakfu can tell us about it, because back in the time, it's really not comparable. Yeah, in terms of difficulty, it's not comparable, but really just at your time, it has taken a long time before. So we had 2 years of content when we released the hero mode. You have 20 years now. We started in 2014 and towards the end of 2015, yeah. So a year and some of dev. We're talking about 2 years, a game of 2 years of existence, less technical problematics, passives and things like that, and it took them 1.5 years to release it. But we've got 20 years of content. Yes, we have the Unity port-in that allows us to have a better architecture and work faster. Thankfully, we have that at least. But it's still something that will take a lot of time because it's still a desire within the team. Because we'll never have as better performance multi-accounting than in a hero mode. But it's not something that can see the light in 3 to 6 months. It's something that will potentially arrive at the end of next year. But in all honesty, it's 2026 that is more likely in terms of dev times. In Dofus, you have loads of solo quest fights. How do you manage it if you have 4 accounts and you start one? How do you handle quest fight? Now, all the problems that happen very badly with auto follow, for example, in a group. Yeah, so it's really all the problematics that we have now with auto follow, auto join, auto this, we will have in the hero mode. So if you take a zap and everybody follows you and you're the only one who has access to this area, everything just full bugs. The entire client goes crazy. When you start to solo fight and everybody's on auto join, their clients just go crazy. So the hero mode will be the quintessence of all of these problems. So yeah, it's a lot of problematics, a lot of issues, and I've mentioned auto follow, auto join. I don't want to if we didn't have them for multi-accounting at the start of the release of 3.0, it's going to be terrible. It clearly wasn't sufficient. So yeah, it's something, hero mode is something we're discussing internally, and we want to see what sort of date to release it, really. Honestly, without bugs, it's without bugs aside, massive comfort that has brought to the game. I was obliged to do my tier quest. It was told what to do and everything, but it's horrible to do the back and forth. Really, having having the autofollow. Yes, you have the odd account that does not follow. Yes, you have ways to deal with it. Yeah, you switch, double click it and stuff. But yeah, you control click auto GPS. So the GPS combined with the autofollow. You click once and you have 8 accounts. You can do other things on the side. My god, the comfort is crazy. So yeah, it was one of the points that we wanted to go back on very quickly. This is what we call the multi-account passive, yeah. And Waze will talk to us about it here. The base formula here needed modernizing. It's something that has been happening for a long time. You've waited for this for a really long time, actually. Basically, without giving you all the numbers, most of our player base is multi-account, and it's a massive chunk of our player base. And to have no ergonomic features for our biggest player base, it doesn't make sense. And that's why we've pushed hard for it on release, so that you guys have the best comfort upon release. We're not making a game uniquely for mono account. It's a real way of playing the game that has enhanced mono and multi. The hero mode that Wakfu has brought, it was important because it was something that was desired. It's logical. It is a natural evolution of the game to go towards that direction. Thank you, Papino, for your answers. It's already 8. There's a lot of cool questions. We haven't talked about Temporis. I was going to ask questions about tactical mode 2025. Is it still going to be there or not? Papino's monopolizing the conversation. Alright, 2 sentences on Temporis because we want to talk as well. Temporis. I can't say much about it because honestly it is still very far into the year and we've got loads of things to see on it. For the tactical mode, we really have to do a poll. We want to ask the community because we have a big variety. Maybe a dark theme. Maybe rework all the maps because some are illegible. You either rework every map or come up with a formula that works better for... So the tactical mode is here to solve the legibility of the current one. So making the current one more legible is better. Dark mode, yeah, we have to do some tests with the team and talk with the team. But yeah, maybe would go towards a tactical mode. That's what it is really, in fact. But yeah, in my opinion, we want to go towards a poll first to see what the community thinks. And then we had loads of hours in the game. We've done lots of Colosseum, lots of PVM, AVAs. We will have more balanced feedback, more rich feedback, so that we could use to analyze the data and see how necessary it is to enhance the current formula, or add just ergonomic features to not tire your eyes, or maybe just add a full-on tactical mode, black and white or something like that. Because a lot of people are asking, why have you removed the option from us? A lot of people are asking because it becomes a fake choice. The choice is good because it's a real choice, because you have 1 out of 2 people that choose. But if we talked about the finishers earlier, we have the choice to activate them. Everybody had deactivated them. It wasn't really a choice. Tactical mode, from the moment it becomes the standard, everybody's playing in tactical mode. All videos are in tactical mode. All the tips and things like that are given in tactical mode. It's not really a choice. He knows that it's a problem. Going through the community feedback is interesting. I'm really not close to say that no, there won't be any going back to tactical mode. I really want to think, analyze, and see whether it's something that we will have to focus, and if really it's something that we need to bring back, it will go back. But we have to analyze and take our time to do things right, to not just promise you something that we won't be able to hold in a few... Yeah. And now we go back to Wakfu. Quick question in chat. Do you want the translation of the Wakfu, Dofus Retro, and Dofus Touch things? Are you interested in hearing the rest of it? Or are you satisfied with Dofus 3? I struggle with the translation as well because I don't know the technical terms of Wakfu and other thing. Meh, I'm getting nope. Meh, perhaps. Okay. Alright. In that case, what I will do is... we will see who is streaming. Aslix is streaming. And right, I'll say thank you all for watching. I need to take care of my throat, put the little one to sleep, say hi to wifey who I have not seen all day, and we shall be back later on for more Dofus content. And I'll see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in.